Hey guys, it's Danae. I am going overseas for about 13 days, and so I'm filming a couple videos to go up while I'm gone, and I decided since I'm traveling I was going to kind of do a mini travel series. So this is the first video. There will be three, three. And so that's why I think I wore this in a video a couple days ago, and one of the other videos I'm pre-filming today I will be looking exactly the same because I decided I didn't really feel like changing my shirt just because I was filming multiple different videos. Anyway, so today's video is going to be some travel tips slash hacks, and these are mostly for like while you're at the airport and on a long flight. Some of these flight ones wouldn't necessarily pertain if you are just going for like a couple hours on a flight, but these are for like 5, 6, 12, 24 hours of traveling. Alright, so I have nine tips for you. So the first one is if you're going somewhere where you're changing several time zones, which, I mean, if you're going to be on a flight for like 6 or more hours, you probably are. And so that is, as soon as you get to the airport, where you're first leaving from, like, start thinking as if you're in your like destination time zone. And this goes when you're going or coming back. So for me, I'm going, I think it's 6 hours ahead. So as soon as I get to the airport, my flight's at 11, so I'll get there at like 9 or so in the morning, and I'm gonna like just set my watch and try to like manually change it on my phone to be 6 hours ahead, so it will be 3 in the afternoon. And that just helps you to like combat the jet lag. So you change your internal clock to that time, and then you start doing things based on the time it is of where you're going. So you sleep when it's nighttime, and you know are up. I try to like even kind of base my meals around that. And it's hard at first, especially if you like go to the airport and get there and it's the middle of the night, or if you really want to sleep on the plane and it's technically day where you are. Like, it's hard, and sometimes some people are just nervous flyers and they need to just sleep on the plane, knock themselves out, and that's fine. But like, if you are able to like be up when you're supposed to be up and be asleep when you're supposed to be asleep, or try to the best you can, and that just helps slowly start to change your internal clock to the right time. It doesn't like change it 100%, but it gets kind of the rough part of it out of the way, so that way when you finally get where you're going, you're mostly changed, or at least rested enough so that you can function when you're there and enjoy the first day that you're there, instead of just feeling exhausted and like you don't know what's up and what's down. Okay, the second tip is like my biggest pet peeve when people don't do this, but for the love of all that is holy, like, put the things in your carry-on that you need to take out for security, like your liquids, like your laptop, like whatever, in a like outside pocket of what you're traveling with. So for me, I use my backpack. So there's already some stuff in here, but so I use this backpack for like my personal item carry-on. I also use like a carry-on suitcase, and for me, where I'm going, that is all we're allowed to take. We check bags that are full of supplies for our trip and not really for personal use. We can put a couple little things in there, but not much. So I put my little pouch with my liquids in it in here, at least until I get through security. Once I get through security, sometimes I'll pack it in here or pack it in my suitcase, but I put that right here. If I have my computer, I won't for this trip, but if I have my computer, I put it in an easy reach pocket, like maybe this first one, just until you get through security, so that way when you can just get to the line, put your bag on the table, pull everything out really easily. You're not like fumbling through your bags and whatever. I try to also wear shoes that are easy on and off, although some airports now are going to where you don't have to take off your shoes. But if I know I'm going somewhere where I do, I try to make them slip-ons or ones that have easy straps, or at least straps that I can walk in a couple steps without having to buckle them. So I'll unbuckle them like early on and then walk with them, and so I'm only having to take them off at the last minute, but I'm not holding up the whole line taking them off or putting them on. I can put them on, grab my stuff, walk a couple steps to clear the area, and then sit on the bench. Because people just hold up the line. And I'm like, you know, you have to take your liquids out, put them in a pocket. So just find a good spot, either a pocket like this, a side pocket, something, please. Number 3 is sleeping on the airplane. Three fingers, is when you're sleeping on the airplane. So if you want to sleep on the plane, or if it's you know, that time of day where you want to be sleeping on the plane, there's a couple things you could do. One is, whatever you normally do before you go to bed at home, try to do that before you go to bed, like before you're trying to sleep on the plane, especially if you're trying to get like an extended amount of time of sleep. So, you know, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, wash your face, like whatever you're doing. Like, I know you're on a plane, and if you have makeup on, you might want to leave it on, but like you can, if you're on a plane for 10 hours, like you should take it off and then re-put it on. It's not going to look good by the end of the flight anyway, even if, especially if you're sleeping. So, do kind of your normal bedtime routine. Maybe read if you usually read before you go to bed, or whatever. If they offer you drinks, maybe have like a cup of decaf tea, or just something that's relaxing. You know, try not to drink the sodas or whatever that has the sugar and the caffeine in them. Anything like that. Generally, I mean, I feel like if you're traveling for 10 hours, you're wearing something comfortable anyway, so you might not have to change. But yeah, just kind of like give yourself that normal routine. Maybe the last meal you eat before, like have it something a little more dinner-like, so you're kind of feeling like it's ready, we're winding down to bed. So that's the one tip. The second is sleeping position. Okay, so I have this pillow that kind of changes shapes. So there's a couple different positions you could sleep in on a plane. I'll do this one first, since this is the way the pillow is already set up. My favorite, and this really only works if you're sitting in a window seat, because otherwise you're totally blocking anyone from getting out of the plane, and if you want to fall asleep, you don't really want to do that. But you put the tray down in front of you, and then you can put a pillow on it, like this, or I have a friend who will take a beach ball and she'll deflate it so it doesn't take up much room, and then she'll blow it up like 3/4 of the way full when she gets on the plane. And you just kind of put it on the tray table and hug it, and then you're kind of sleeping bent over. And for me, that's kind of the position I normally sleep in, just on my side, you know, like curled up like that. So for me, I actually find that really comfortable. It doesn't bother my neck. I will wake up usually after a couple hours because I will just be tired on my back or my feet, but I like that, especially if I can put my feet up on something, kind of like all curled up. The second way is, if you're at the window, obviously you take the pillow and like put it against the window, and that seems to work. I'm not one that ever like really lays the seat back, unless there's like a little kid behind me or no one, where I'm not squishing them. And I don't really think reclining the seat helps all that much. And the other way is if you have a neck pillow, or a pillow like this that kind of switches. Love this thing. It's like my favorite thing that I bought for traveling. So it turns into a neck pillow. And I like this because I can clip it on the bag, and so it doesn't take up room in my suitcase. But a lot of people will put this behind their head. But for me, like having that big bump, like that's not comfortable behind my head when I'm trying to sleep, because I just feel like it's pushing my neck forward. So you can either put it this way or put it this way, depending on how you're sitting and how you're comfortable, and that way when you sleep, you have something on the side, and then it keeps your head from like doing that like awkward, like lolling forward. So those are some tricks for trying to fall asleep on a plane. Alright, number 4, your liquids. So what I do, since I'm going for 12 days and all in a carry-on, I usually bring 2 pouches of liquids. One is things that I'm going to be using either at the airport or on the plane, and the other one is things that I'm not going to be using except while I'm there. And so I put them in 2 separate pouches. And yes, the airlines will let you do this. I know they want them in like one bag, but if you have 2 smaller bags, they'll let you do it. And initially, I'll keep them, you know, like I said, easy access to both of them. But once I'm through security, I'll take the ones that I'm not going to use, like my shampoo, my conditioner, that sort of stuff, and I put it like in my suitcase. I'm not going to touch it because I'm not going to need it. And then I keep the stuff I'm going to use on my plane, like maybe toothbrush and toothpaste if you want to brush your teeth on the plane. Like I usually keep some skincare to like put on my face while I'm on the plane, like moisturizer and whatever, any type of makeup, that sort of stuff. So have them in 2 separate pouches, so you don't need to keep like this giant bag of liquids in like with your personal items. The other thing is when you're packing them, and this goes if you're packing them in a suitcase too, probably even more so, to prevent a spill. I just have this little thing of lotion, but you take the bottle and you put some, unscrew the top, put some plastic wrap on it, and then you can screw the top on. And it just kind of keeps it so like if the top comes loose, like there's another barrier to like prevent things from spilling, or if this accidentally pops open and someone squeezes it, like something squeezes it, it's not going to squirt all over your stuff. So it just kind of keeps an extra like measure of precaution. So I really like this tip. It's really easy. You're not trying to like wrap things up. It's just quick, easy, whatever. Keeps your liquids safe. Alright, number 5. This is I think the only tip that I have that's like not for airplane stuff. I bring a like whatever book I want to put my pictures in. Like I usually get a Smash book. They sell them at Michael's, but you can kind of use whatever like journal, scrapbook you want to use. And I bring it with me, and I on every day I like start a new page and I'll write things that happened that day. Like usually I just write a top 10 list or a top 5 list of things that happened that day. And I'll put other little things in there, and then I leave room for the picture. So if I know I took a lot of pictures, I'll leave a couple pages. And that way when you get back and get your pictures developed, you can just put them on the days, and you're not having to be like, what did I do that day? Or if you get a picture back and you're not really sure when it came from, you're like, oh yeah, I did that on this day, because it says right here that this day we saw the Eiffel Tower, and so my picture of the Eiffel Tower goes on this day. And it makes putting together a really nice scrapbook or photo album of your trip like so easy when you get home. Like, so many times I don't make the album when I get home because I don't want to have to, like, I just don't have the time to do all that. But now I just get my pictures printed out and I put them in the journal. Like I just tape them in or glue them in however I want to use it, and it's done. Like I've done the work as it, and it kind of breaks it up. And it's kind of fun, like at the end of every day, to like reflect on what you did that day. So that I would highly recommend if you're one that likes to make like a travel journal or a travel like photo album from your trips. Alright, number 6 is to bring some socks or like a sweatshirt. I'm sure y'all already know this isn't really a trick, but it also helps to fall asleep when you're nice and cozy. So I usually wear sandals or slip-on shoes, and so I don't have big bulky socks, so I always bring big bulky socks for a long haul trip. And I usually wear either like a bulky scarf that I can then like throw over me, or a sweatshirt, just because I don't really like using blankets on the plane, but they kind of ski me out and they're not big enough, and I like bulkier things, so I like having something that I can like snuggle up with and then get ready and go to sleep. And plus the planes are usually cold, or the airports are usually cold, or if nothing else you can bundle up that sweatshirt and sleep on it like a pillow if you don't have a pillow. Alright, number 7 is before you get on the plane to do some yoga or some stretches. Like somehow just loosen everything up, because you're going to be sitting in a really cramped space for a really long time. So just kind of loosen up all your muscles, get the blood flowing so that you don't get super stiff on the plane. You're going to get stiff anyway. Your legs are going to swell up, your toes are going to swell up, but just like get things moving. So it just kind of helps, and it also just helps you relax on the plane. It helps make it easier for you to fall asleep. Like just do some stretches, and it doesn't have to be like full-on yoga, but like stretch out your legs, stretch out your arms, stretch out your back. You're gonna be you have to be in the airport for an hour and a half anyway. Might as well. And then if you have layovers or multiple flights, you can do it in between flights. That just help like kind of loosen up from the previous flight and get ready for the next flight. Because there's nothing like getting where you're going and having back pain or leg pain because we're cramped for so long. Alright, number 8 is just some health tips. So what I usually do is I bring an empty water bottle with me, because you can't bring a full water bottle through security. Or if I forget, I'll just buy a bottle of water in a sturdy water bottle once I get through, so I can refill it and not have to buy water at every stop that we make. So yes, you want to fill, and then you get through security and fill it up, and try to keep yourself hydrated. I know so many people like to not drink so they don't pee on the plane, but if you're going to be on the plane for 14 hours or 12 hours or even 8 or 9 hours, like you should be peeing. Like don't try to stop it. Like it's not healthy. So keep yourself hydrated. It's super easy to get dehydrated when you're traveling, because most of the time, because you're trying not to drink, so you don't have to go to the bathroom as often, but also just like the dryness of everything like dehydrates you. And you don't want to start off your trip feeling sick or like having a headache or anything because you're not hydrated. And then the second part of the same tip is if you're on a really long flight, like make sure you take care of your legs to keep the blood flowing. So the best thing to do is to do ankle pumps. So you just kind of like sit and, you know, pump your ankle. I usually do my ankles up and down, side to side, about 10 or 20 times, and then you work your way up. So then I'll kick my knees out as much as you can. I mean, I know you're cramped, so I'll do that like 20 times, and then I'll march 20 times. And so you're slowly like working from your toes all the way up to your hips. So and sometimes I'll even do my toes. I'll do my toes like this, and then I'll do my ankles this way. I'll do my knees like out and in, and then I'll do my hips up and down. And that'll just kind of keep the blood flowing in your legs, like help move some of the fluid around in your legs so that it prevents the swelling and it prevents any kind of blood clot. The other thing that you can do that's really easy is get some compression socks. These that I have these are hiking compression socks, and so I like these because they're thick and bulky, and so they're like my thick, bulky, cozy socks, but they've got a good amount of compression, and it's graduated compression, so it's tighter here and then it slowly gets less as it comes up to help like keep the fluid up. But you can get some more like, they look a little more dress socks, so they're lighter socks at like Walmart and stuff for pretty cheap. These I think were like $18, but these I ordered because I wanted them to serve two purposes, and I travel on long flights a lot. So that's something else. And then if this is like cool with your body and your doctor, you can take an aspirin before you get on the plane, like a full-size 325 milligram aspirin. You know, obviously don't do that if you're taking any kind of medication that's going to interfere with. That's obviously counterproductive. You know, make sure that that's a type of medication that you are allowed to take and that it will work with your body, but that helps too, just to kind of help your blood thin out a little bit to prevent any clots, especially if you are not super young. Alright, and number 9, I had written down here pouches, but I think I kind of already talked about that. I put everything in separate pouches. So like I said, with my liquids, I'll separate those into stuff I use and stuff I don't. I'm not going to use on the plane, but then like I'll have a pouch for like all my cords, and I'll have a pouch for like maybe with some snacks in it, but I try to keep it organized so that way I'm not like digging through my carry-ons while I'm on the plane or while I'm in the airport and like pulling things out, because I'm the type of person that I pull things out and then not put everything back in, or it just gets unorganized and then I can't find anything ever. And it just helps also when you're there that everything kind of has its spot, even though you don't have like your room where everything like really does have a spot. And so bonus tip with that is since I travel with my backpack and a carry-on, I do not like to get up in the middle of the flight and have to get in my carry-on suitcase. So everything I'm going to want on the plane goes in my backpack, everything I'm not going to use goes in the carry-on, and I try to keep it that way as best I can. I've yet to have to get up and get something out of my bag. So like books I'm going to read on the plane, like the skincare stuff I'm going to put in there. If I want to like change my shirt or like change my pants and underwear on the plane, depending on how long the flight is, like I'll put that, like just that in my backpack. All the rest of my clothes will go in my carry-on, just so that I have it like separated and I don't ever need to open the suitcase, because I don't want to have to lay it down and open it up and unzip it and have things fall out. It's usually packed full, and so I don't want to have to touch that. Okay, so my camera cut off right at the end. So yeah, I try not to touch my carry-on, like that stays packed. I put everything I need in my backpack and I'm like good to go. Just keep them separate. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below with your travel tips, and I hope these helped you for any future long flights that you're going to be on. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and you will see me in my next travel video, and I will see you when I get back. Bye!